So before I begin, I just wanted to say that I am so inspired by all of the other speakers. Let's give them another round of applause, please. So today I would like to talk about how does a positive stereotype impact the mental health of Asian Americans. Hi everyone, my name is Summer Yang. I am an A student. I am a dancer. I am a leader. I am a volunteer. I am the Communications Fellow at Asian Hall of Fame. I am an overachiever. Just looking at me, this may be easy to believe. You see this confident girl in front of you. Yet, this could all be a mask. I do strive to be the perfect student, but not everything can go right. The proof of it? AP European History. Blame the one and only long essay question. That is probably the easiest portion in the test. Now, many of you may know the positive stereotype Asians have, the model minority, in which we are seen as smart, high-achieving, hardworking, obedient, and more successful than the average individual. It may seem positive, but the truth is, it's very harmful to be seen this way, precisely because it creates bias and high expectations that are placed on each individual. On top of that, this doesn't just affect Asian Americans, but in fact, every single individual. Because in today's society, the typical high school student and college student is expected to be at the top and at the very best. The world views me in a certain way, yet that is far from the truth. Let me get a little vulnerable with you here. There are times at home when I have felt alone and lost, and I have cried myself to sleep. I sometimes feel as if I'm not good enough. I feel as if I've failed my teachers, my parents, and especially myself. I'm also just a 16-year-old. In the journey where we strive to become the best and to achieve, what is it that we have to sacrifice? So I would like to ask you, those in the audience, how many of you have ever felt the pressure to be at the top and be the best? Please raise your hands. A lot of you. And how many of you are perfectionists? I can relate to you all, as I'm also a perfectionist. I was a straight A student until I encountered a course called Disastrous AP European History when I got a B. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh my gosh, a B, not a big deal, what is she on? And no, I'm not talking about drugs. But to someone who has worked her butt off for her A, just to fall short at the very end, impacted me in a bigger way than I could have ever imagined. Perhaps some of you are athletes who work hard and train hard for your games. But when it finally matters, you mess up and it ruins everything. It's an interesting process of almost reaching the end goal, but failing when you get to the finish line. I, like many others, have experienced pressure from my parents, from society, and from myself. I have seen friends around me crumble under pressure due to these high expectations that are put on us. UCLA is known to be the #1 public university with the acceptance rate of 8.6%, and UC Berkeley at 11.4%. USC's acceptance rate, 9.9%, and Harvard at 4.5%. As you can see, these schools are extremely hard to get into. It has been drilled into our heads to get into the best college. That is the only goal. We work hard in school, to get into these schools, which leads to a large problem that many people face: pressure. Yet, when Asian Americans face this pressure, they hide it. Why? Because having this problem is looked down upon makes the individual not perfect. In addition, in our culture, we generally don't talk about mental health because we pretend it doesn't exist. But why should we hide it? Everyone shares it. Why do I have to hide? So, according to Psychology Today, for Asian Americans, depression diagnoses increased 104% and anxiety disorders increased by 97% after the pandemic happened. And according to the Office of Minority Health, suicide was the leading cause of death for Asian Pacific Islanders ages 15 to 24 in 2019. Asian American males in grades 9 through 12 were 30% more likely to commit suicide than compared to non-Hispanic white males. And Asians were 60% less likely to have received mental health treatment. As an Asian American myself, the pressure I face is so overlooked. I work hard in school to get into the best college. But what then? What is beyond in getting into the best college? Pressure seems like such a small thing that everyone faces in one way or another. But if you truly look at it, it's the cause of where problems in mental health start, because there is so much pressure that is put on each individual. Many Asian parents speak of their sacrifices for their children to get to where they are today. Internally, this creates this goal of becoming great, to give back to our parents. This pushes us to work harder than before. But no one is perfect. We push and focus until we have no energy left. And once we mess up, it feels as if we're torn apart. How many of you here have felt that you're not enough? That you always fall short? Very relatable, because parents just want the best for us. They want us to be successful. The stereotype of Asian parents wanting their children to become doctors and lawyers and being successful and financially stable. But what about their happiness? What about their passions? I personally got lucky with my parents, as most of the pressure from home actually comes from within myself. But with such a large problem at hand, now is the time to take action, to live a little more free, a little happier. So, what is the solution? To change the course of this issue, you can start with yourself. Change begins with a mindset. It's about acceptance and embracing failure, because perfection does not exist. Let me repeat that again. Perfection does not exist. Admitting and saying aloud that you can work with failure will lead to remarkable things. And I want you to know that a grade does not define you. A letter or a number does not define you. You have character, personality, uniqueness. You are enough. I have been working on a nonprofit with my cousin to address these issues. However, it's not ready yet. So here are 3 nonprofits that are working very hard to make a massive positive impact. The Asian American Psychological Association, that promotes the mental health and well-being of Asian Americans. The Project Lotus, that tackles the model minority stereotype. And the National Alliance on Mental Illness, that provides advocacy, education, and support. So I've called you to take action within yourself, showing you charities. So what actions can you take today? Start with your community and your network. Inspire your peers. You never know what someone else could be going through. Many people hide what's going on at home and even at school, the pressures they may face from their parents or the world. Open your heart up. and be their support. How many of you have friends who are crumbling under the pressure they face from school or even at home? I do. Lend them a hand, open up your heart, and give them strength. Inspire them, like the leader that you are. And finally, you can donate $20 to 1, 2, or 3 of these nonprofits, or even become a mentor to give time in helping students realize their true potential and goals in life. Life is not all about getting into the best college or being financially stable. It's about living life to the fullest, living with no regrets, doing what one is truly happy with. It's about experiencing your passions and doing your best. I want to help Asians break away from the model minority stereotype. I want the world to know that everyone is equal, everyone is facing the same pressure. Whether you're race, this problem is not just about Asian Americans. I want you to realize that you don't need the perfect grades or the best college to be the best you. So step away from the model minority stereotype. Be authentic and be yourself, because that is when you truly are at the very top. Thank you.